Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back. And today we're going to be looking at the 5.0 update. So this is kind of not a real update. I don't know how to explain. There's no new toys in this update. So I'm kind of rushing this one out a little bit. So the reason for that is in the Giants have released a update for Farming Simulator 1.9. And immediately we started having issues with the excavators, all track machines. So basically what would happen is when you were inside a machine from the outside, when you swing your cab in a circle, like obviously it doesn't do it now, but what was happening is those tracks were actually jumping up. So if I smashed my head into the ground, it was like doing these little jumps, like little tiny little hiccup jumps. But like the whole machine would hop off the ground and go tuk 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 tuk. And if you're holding logs or anything, it would throw them all over the place. It was just super super weird and annoying. So I have fixed it using a method in the physics that makes absolutely no sense to me why it fixes it, but it fixes it. I'm not going to go into details on that because it's just a whole bunch of coding and baloney that you guys don't need to know about. So that's the main reason I'm putting this update out, is to address the 1.9 issue, because even on the other machines in the 4.0 pack that I had, they were doing it too, which was really frustrating. So I've already done all the work on these machines, getting them ready for the 5.0 update, and I wasn't going to go do all that physics work on the old machines and on the new ones. So you guys can thank Giants for forcing this 5.0 update out first. Again, there's going to be another update with the actual toys, because I have some mods that I'm working on, like the Grapple Yarder and stuff that you guys had seen there, and some other toys that I'm working on. That's going to come later now, but I got to get this physics update out to you guys so the machines are acting proper. And there's some other changes. This might be a bit of a long video, but I'm going to go over the changes that we've done. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. So this update, as the big awesome changes, the main one is all of these machines have returned back to Giants compatible stock weights. So this Medill weighs exactly the same, or relatively very close to the in-game Volvo excavator. So this machine weighs the same, that machine weighs the same. All of the weights of all of the machines and everything have been brought back almost to stock due to me discovering some really awesome physics techniques to make them work. Same with the trees. So all of these trees and logs and pieces and stuff, they're all compatible with in-game equipment. So if you use any of the in-game Giant stuff for forestry, it will be compatible with these trees. They're not overly heavy on those machines anymore. So that's the biggest change for 5.0, is that it is a lot easier to work with other equipment. I had lots of people asking from other modders to other players that use other people's mods saying, oh man, can you please make it compatible? And I never could before because I couldn't get the physics to feel right. But I've discovered some new stuff with physics and weights and weight distribution on the machines to allow pretty much, it feels pretty much the same physics-wise as it did in the heavy version. So you guys shouldn't notice a huge difference. The only thing you might notice is the machines might feel slightly tippier if you're working with heavier trees. We'll go over that with a buncher here in a little bit. So yeah, all machines, all logs, all mods, all grapples, everything. All of it's been changed over to be compatible with the lighter style weights, or the stock style weights. The dangle clams was something that I changed. I made them so that the openings were a bit bigger. I think I have one here on this map somewhere. These ones. So these clams on these machines are a lot larger now. I had that request from lots of people asking if we could make these bigger so they could hold more logs. So this one's larger, as well as the other one, which is the E. I don't have a copy of that on this map. So that's been changed as well. The buncher heads. So this is another huge change that's happened, is the buncher heads. We're also going to go over the grapples a little bit too, but we'll do buncher since we're here. So the buncher has been changed. I was able to discover some really neat stuff while I was playing around to help with issues. So one of the issues we have is that when you grab a bunch of trees, the blade cuts the trees while they're in the grip, and they go bzz, 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 and then they also warp the bottom of the trees and do all kinds of weird stuff. They also mess them up while you're cutting. So what I designed, which it's going to seem silly, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. It's kind of silly looking, but you guys don't actually see it. This is going on in physics land. So right now the problem is We have this little plate, which you can see marked in orange here on the bottom, this right next to the blade. That's basically where the physics of the tree sit. Now, the actual cutting part, the cut node, is right on the tip of where that blade is. So as that blade is hitting the trees, it goes zzz, 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 zzz. So what I've done, and this was just me messing around trying to figure out a method, when you close the claws, this little plate slides into place. You see this other plate that pops in here on the bottom that kind of goes above it down here? So this plate, I'm gonna call it the trademarked the booster plate. So what it does is two things. One, as you're cutting, it actually lifts the tree off of the stump and pops it up into the head. This allows it to stop cutting, and it actually reduces the amount of cookies. So cookies are those little tiny pieces that are left behind while you're cutting. I probably have a couple laying here from when I was testing. So like little pieces that lay on the ground like this that get all over the place. Here's another one standing straight up. So this is a cookie, we call them. So this last update, people were complaining, and I totally get it because I saw it too. So it's not really a complaint; it was an observation. There was tons of these cookies. So you go cut a tree, and sometimes it would leave like 5 or 6 of these little round circles all over the ground in a big pile. So with this new technique of having this plate to pop them off there, it kind of reduces the cookies. It also reduces, it lifts the tree off of the plate so that the trees actually stay off of that bottom plate. So the next cut's actually a lot smoother. And it also makes it so that it keeps it above that cut node so that the trees aren't sitting on it cutting away. And I'll give you a demonstration here. Let's grab a little tree. So again, we're going to go back to talking about weights here for a second before I show you that little booster plate. So if you're cutting larger trees, like, I mean, these are really big trees. Like in real life, if you're grabbing trees like this, I mean, your buncher's probably not going to tip over in real life, but it'll be pretty wobbly to it. So the key, again, I tell everybody, go very slow, go in for your cut, grab your tree, and hang on to it. So again, right now when you're keeping it close to the cabin, you're not waving it around, it's pretty sturdy. Like the buncher can handle it quite well. You're not really having any issues. Now the problem is once you start, and this is just like real life, I've run these things before, like I know, once you start waving the tree back and forth violently, so what happens is all of the weight is transferred to the top portion of this tree. So basically you are the pivot point of that weight that's happening. So as you go back and forth and wiggle it, it may seem like, oh, it's just, the tree is just this light tree, but it's not, because you're taking all of the weight of the tree in just one little pivot point, and that's all of that weight reflecting on there. So one difference in real life is trees actually bend, so they have a little bit more sway that can take that weight a little bit better. In this game, because the trees are absolutely solid all the way from the top all the way to the bottom, then you get this basically a perfect pivot point of strength and mass all in one turn. And all of that weight shimmying back and forth will pivot even the heavier machines. So again, if you're shifting it and going like this, I mean, I'm just doing it really light. You can see the machine moving, right? Now, if I do it a little bit harder, the whole machine wants to go for a ride. So the key is if you're working with those heavier trees, you do need to control that and move very slowly, work your controls really slowly, and drop stuff instead of hanging on to it all the way down. Now that's just for the bigger stuff. The lighter trees or the smaller trees, you're not really going to have that issue. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys the booster plate. So I'm just going to grab one tree here and show you guys what's happening. So as I described, this booster plate comes into place. It's in place right now. So if I open my claws, the plate goes away. As you can see, it slides down and it goes into the cutting head. But when I put that plate on, it pushes it up out of the way of that cutter. Again, down, up, down, up, down, up. And it basically just bumps it up a little bit and slices it in there to lift it right off of the stump. So now what you're going to see is you won't have your blade cutting into those trees as much. I'm not saying it's not possible, but you'll see a big reduction. You'll also see not getting cookies all over the ground, because that's what was causing the big issue with the cookies. So we're gonna just plunk these down here. I'm not doing a very nice buncher job here, but yeah, you'll notice that you don't leave cookies on the ground near as much. Again, I'm sure you could potentially, if the tree falls in a weird way or you're on a hill, maybe you'll get cookies. Occasionally you'll still have the trees delete because we're using the stump cutter script, which is actually built to get rid of the whole tree, get rid of the stump. So occasionally if you hit the tree at a wrong angle or you're bunching really weird, sometimes the trees will disappear. It's not super often. Sometimes in multiplayer I see it more than single player, but it is a possibility. And again, as you can see, it's wiping out the stumps or making them very low to the ground. It's not leaving any cookies behind. As you can see, there's 0 cookies on the ground. And it's very clean cuts, and your buncher keeps the trees up off of that cutting edge so you can drop them cleanly on the ground without hitting the cutting head. One problem is if that cutting head is engaged, it resets the physics on the trees. So if you're churning your head and the trees are in the grapple, every time it goes bzz, 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 bzz to cut, it'll actually glitch your head as it's going, and the trees kind of like drag behind. So by keeping them kind of out of that cut area, you're going to see better stuff, better things. So again, cutting a lot better. Again, I played with the cut nodes, I played with the grab arms, all kinds of stuff, because obviously these are the lighter trees now. So if you guys are using this update, it will not be compatible with the older maps that have the heavy trees. This is only compatible with these versions of maps. These are safe for save games. So if you have a save game, it is safe to just install the mods and use them. It's not going to remove any of your save game progress, as there are no new trees added. It is just physics changes to the actual trees themselves. But again, as you can see, you're still able to work the larger trees without an issue. It's just working really good. It's just that, like I said, now that the trees are a bit heavier, you will get a little bit of lift on your machine if you're bucking around really hard. So just be really careful with the trees and take your time. Don't rush. And worst case scenario, if you're really not like super agile, just keep your blade. Literally, you can walk into the tree, grab it. As long as you keep it close to your machine, you don't even have to move your arm. You can just walk around if you want. Just walk around like this, kind of like you're using a wheeled buncher, and then just drop it. Whoops, there we go. Whoop. And you can drop it onto the ground. So if you want to be less accurate, you can do it that way. Okay, so that's the big changes to the buncher heads. I think you guys are really going to like them. They work really good. They're very smooth, less issues, and with that new booster plate, it makes the experience a little bit smoother. And not leaving cookies all over the place is fantastic. I think this is pre-cookie land over here where we were still testing. Yeah, you can see my angles. Oh, that's another thing. So the old buncher head used to cut at a weird angle where it was really sharp. I'm actually able to make it flat now. So you'll notice when you're bunching, all of your tree bunches when you're going in won't have any kind of angle to them anymore unless you're actually at an angle. But you'll see that they're flat cuts. So this thing used to cut kind of at a bit of a sharper edge, but I've found a way to fix that. So now it's flat without any issues. So big changes to the buncher head. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to look at the grapples really quick. Okay, so same thing with the forwarder. The forwarder has had changes to the way it grips. So all of the grapples have changed graphically in a good way. So these are... oops, we caught an extra tree in there. These just grip a lot better. I'm not being super accurate here with my pulls, so we're just going to dump that in there. It's just a lot more grippy. So you get better grip on the logs. You get better transition of the logs. You guys can play with this thing till your heart's content and see all the new stuff. I have a really weird mix of logs in this pile here, so you're going to get all kinds of stuff. That is a terrible... that's some terrible loading. But grapples on that. All of these grapples, I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but all of these grapples have been played with. So they're quite effective for grabbing into these piles. You'll notice that there's a bit of resistance you'll get on them, but they usually fold up the piles now. So when you're doing your dumps, everything feels very smooth, very accurate. Yeah, these are just a nice upgrade. And again, we're using the heavier or the lighter weights for all of the logs now. So these ones are 6-meter logs, which are a little bit lighter. So you'll find these guys you'll be able to manipulate quite a bit more. You get a lot more distance before you really start falling over. If you're going to heavier logs, of course, so over here I have some 8-meter logs. over here, which are quite heftier, much heftier. So these guys, you may have a little bit of weight issues with if you try being crazy with them. So as long as you're keeping your pile close to you while you're operating, like if you're keeping it close to the cab, you're not going to have any problems. Even like this distance, well, actually we're off track here. So watch your tracks too. If you're off track, meaning that you're on the side instead of the front, you're going to have a lot more tippy than you are if you go out the front. If you go out the front, you're going to have a lot more range of motion, a lot more everything, right? So overall, these are going to feel a lot heavier to you, but it's actually, like, I don't know, I really like it. I think it's a good balance. Kind of teaches people to operate a little bit better. Now, I'm trying to not go much heavier than what they are right now because we want to try to keep it compatible with the other stuff. Honestly, I feel it's pretty good compared to real life. Maybe in real life they're like a teeny bit more sturdy, but that's more dependent on the ground itself. But as far as weights goes, like if you're pulling 8-meter logs and throwing it this far off track, yeah, and even in real life, you start doing that, you're going to start tipping, whether you like it or not. So, and different machines have various different stuff, but yeah, I think you guys will enjoy this. Loading into the trailers and stuff with the new physics on the trees feels pretty much the same, if not better, than it did in the previous update. So I think you guys will be pretty happy with that. Anyway, there's not really a lot more to go over. That's the big changes. New lightweights. And obviously we fixed that issue with the 1.9 where the machine was hopping and jumping. Again, this patch this update wasn't supposed to come out for a while because I was going to include some new toys that I'm still working on. But obviously with this sudden fix needed, I figured I would just throw this out a little bit early. And then when we do update 6.0, I will include all of the changes or new toys and stuff like that. So, all right, guys, I'll leave it at that. If you have any bugs or issues, let me know in the comments. All right, we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.